No need for a introduction again, guys. I won't give a channel introduction every time I go live. If you're a subscriber, we're happy to have you back. If you're a new subscriber, all you need to know is you're welcome to not only subscribe to the You Will Make It TV channel today, but maybe even share our channel with a friend or somebody else who might be into these more global topics that we discuss here at You Will Make TV. Not just American topics, not just state level topics, but topics that totally have to do with humanitarianism, crimes against humanity, and much more. So, of course, the devil wouldn't like us who actually advocate against certain things, because what do you think crime against humanity means? And if nobody were speaking about it, then the devil would be able to continue to work through the people to uh, do, say, and hurt who he pleases. We have to begin to look at it this way. They said one of the biggest deceptions of the enemy upon the world was, helping people to believe he didn't exist at all. In my opinion, people believe what they want to believe, or they just only believe what they see. It's not even true these days. People will see with their very naked eye and still not believe. So either way, we're not here to force your beliefs today. We're not here to force anybody's rights, beliefs, or thought processes. No. If anything, we're here to help raise the vibrations and normalize topics that are usually shunned. And all those topics that are shunned, it's crazy. Like how many victims fall by the wayside because we continue to just live in a world where we shun certain topics. It's which I'm not saying technically we're doing it when it comes to the child bride topic. People have been speaking up about this for a very long time. But you know, people think protests and people standing up for rights only stop at other crimes against humanity that might have to do with race or colorism. But when we really look at it, this sexism thing it's been going on for so long, man. Uh, and we're not saying one should be a priority over another. We're talking about children on this topic today. A child can be a male or a female, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have even other sexes where people are born with actually two genders. I mean, people are actually born like this. What are you going to call them, weird or a mistake? No, it's just life has a funny way of showing us, just like in a movie Benjamin Button, that people are born different. I think they have a TV series today called Born Different, actually. It's been a while since I've watched stories on there, but I'm glad that shows like this have come out, you know what I'm saying, to help share people's stories of being born different, right? And being born different could mean being born from another country, being born whoop, 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 all kind of ways. Being born with one hand, one leg, one. That's why I enjoy that television series, right? Even if it's been a minute, like I said, since I've gotten to watch it myself. Okay. Um, what inspired this really quick. I can't remember what country I saw that in the news recently where they were actually fighting to make child bride marriages legal, but it actually got denied. If you guys are aware of what I'm talking about, you can help me out and leave that in the chat. I swear I've been on Google for a second and I cannot find this story, but I remember seeing it. I cannot remember which country it was. Oh, the reason I'm bringing it up is because it said that the people weren't happy about it. Like the men weren't happy about it at all. And they were voicing their opinions about it. And this is in modern day time. Like this was on the news, I know, at least a week or two ago. It was just an update announcement that, the petition or whatever they were trying to push in this country to make it 100% legal, it actually got denied. Once again, after I post this live today, if you know the country I'm talking about, Please feel free to leave it in the comments or the chat for our viewers, okay? Now that inspired my topic, but I didn't know about this story right here, released by The Guardian recently. Uh, it says child bride faces execution unless she pays 80,000, I guess, in whatever their currency is in Iran, because what she did is she took the life of her quote unquote abuser. And I'm not downplaying abusers, people really do have those. And I feel like no matter how much the world tries to bury this topic, it's just going to make it worse. Because as it continues to happen, I think it's very unhumanitarian to tell people that they cannot speak up, or just to tell people they're living in a delusion or an illusion and they don't have an abuser, right? That's how she ended up. And the young lady's only 25 years old right now, but that doesn't mean she didn't get married as a child bride or in some kind of forced marriage arrangement. You're not, once again, let me state, these are just my commentary, reaction, and opinions to real issues globally, especially humanitarian issues. Nobody has to agree. I'm not here to offend anybody's religion, beliefs, cultural practices. But I do feel, that it's right that, we better start showing more. You want to worry about, like our last topic, we was talking about a comet headed this direction, another thing, and people find all this coincidence, but you got people trying to silence people because they standing up for children. It's not right. I'm saying, in my opinion, it's not right, because we're going to talk about some of the things that have been proven psychologically, how these type of arrangements like affect a whole child in the time of them being forced into these arrangements and thereafter. It's like forcing a woman to be happy with you, if you ask me. Even if you marrying her at 12 years old, like, how do you look at that as love? Like, how do you look at that as I might even do some more research. Like, I think God wants, especially these cultures that say they believe in God. I don't understand it. Marriage, the foundation of that should be love, but the world is steady doing things in their own way, steady trying to hide the highest frequency and vibration here. But they will dictate and judge and even criticize and punish upon execution sometimes. With this story I was just referring to, everything that doesn't have to do with love is crazy. Now, I'm not saying it's right to take the life of anybody, but what do you think? What do you think these type of things lead to? It's not the first story I heard where it was an actual black young lady too. Like, think about the movie Color Purple. That's another good reference, where it just kind of showed the realities of these situations, and how I even researched there's still some states in America just now starting to ban that. A lot of people didn't know it. It was like people still doing it right here in America. So we're not being biased with this topic to any country or culture. We're talking about children, because no matter what part of the world you're in, a child is a child. I'm trying to take my time with this topic. And I thought I wasn't tripping when I noticed this. It's almost like people feel like, well, the more we do something, they be trying to make a statement. They be trying to push an agenda, hoping that, well, laws will change because we did it anyway. Laws will change. They'll just allow us to start doing this because we want to be with children anyway. How do people not see that this is the mentality of people? You still see news stories, even in states and countries where this is not legal, because I researched Dubai a little bit. You actually have to be 18 to get married there. So you'd be surprised the places that have got a little more modernized with the law to like protect children in this way, and some places that haven't, right? You got to look at it on both sides. But this young lady, I'm just reading this verbatim from this article published by the Guardian. A child bride faces execution for the unaliving of her abusive husband unless she can raise whatever this T10BN Tomans to pay off the victim's family by December. I guess they're trying to make a public example out of her. Now, I'm just like these people, but I'm just reading the article here as far as the opinions of the human activists that have been standing up on her behalf lately. They say the case is emblematic of the discriminatory treatment of women and minorities in Iran, where child marriage is legal and there are limited legal protections against domestic violence. I wonder, is that why a lot of our missing children, we never find them again? Like, where are y'all taking them? Where it's legal for you to have them? You know, it's just sad. Cause like a lot of them, we don't ever find them again, right? And it's like, okay, well, where did? It's just crazy. I mean, and it just seems to add up that they might take them other places of the world, islands and countries where, well, it's okay over here. But now we're really talking about humanitarianism, where people, they hate when you call that out, that they just be wanting an image. They want to look like this and that to people. But you got to take a child to a whole nother place so you can do what you want to do with them. It's just weird. I don't know. I'm open to hearing opinions like from people that find this okay or find this, because I would have a lot of questions for them. It's a bunch of grown women out here you can always go date or have or court. You want to sit here and continue to advocate for crimes and slap on the wrist and stuff. It's just whole signs out here. That's real. I just accept the truth in the world for what it is. Like most people, if they could have it their way. And yes, I know people don't want to hear that. Did she say most people? That's what it's seeming like. We skated by in society for so long just excusing stuff, right? But with God and how he sees it from his eyes and hearts, they'll just say, well, I don't believe in God, so they can do whatever they want to do. Well, what happened to moralism and humanitarianism and it was one more word I was like, ethical, ethicism, right? Like, even if you don't believe in God, because I'm tired of people using that as an excuse for the crazy evil stuff they do too. I could say I don't believe in God. Even if I didn't believe in God, it's a lot of stuff that people find okay that I still would feel some type of guilt for at the end of the day if I didn't believe in God. That's why they always try to wrap your beliefs around your lifestyle and stuff like this, right? Well, we got to look at it with everybody then. These same people say they believe in certain books and scripts and scrolls and but ask the children how they feel about these arrangements. They don't want to, because they gonna find out. Ain't no child out here trying to be married at no 12 and 13 and 10 years old. Guys, I'll be right back. I'm taking a slight break. Sorry guys, I had to take a quick restroom break, but I'm right back. It was quick, wasn't it? It's what happens when you drink all this coffee in the morning time. And see, it just proves it, man. But I don't want to be like, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking about the stuff that's under the surface. People quick to judge. Let me bring up another thing. Like I saw another stream just yesterday, just last night, where people, of course, had their different judgments and opinions in the comments of this story too. This wasn't even a foreign story. This was just like a family here in America, and a grandparent was, kind of chastising and uh, disciplining her granddaughter, who was only 11 years old, something about a boyfriend. She was just like, no, you don't have a boyfriend. The only thing most people were saying about it that was wrong is that she brought the recording of her talking to her granddaughter about it to the internet. They felt like, hey, that's exploitation. That's wrong to publicly chastise her like that, just to get a point across. And you got a lot of old school people that still find it as a prevalent way to like discipline their young people. Straight up public humiliation. They start that at an early age, bro. They want you to, I mean, that's why it gets hard to decipher. Is it tough love or something else? You see? Is you gonna call it tough love? Oh yeah, young daughter, I'm gonna sell you off into marriage at 10 years old. How is that tough love? That's just straight up control. And then you mask it and cover it up in the name of tradition or culture or religion. Like, come on, bro. Anyways, people's opinions was like that she shouldn't have brought it to the internet. Now, we know in today's time there's just a lot of parents that we've seen go that route. I'm not here to judge whether I think it's right or not. I'm speaking the facts. Like I saw another story of a parent who cut her daughter's hair off. That was her punishment. It's the fact that they do this on camera though. Like they want social media to see what they did. People be thinking, oh, I'm finna go report you. Obviously, they don't care. They put it on the internet how they chastise their child. I remember it was another couple. It was a dad and a stepmother who chastised. And all of these stories I just brought up, they were young girls, like their daughters or granddaughters or nieces that they were chastising on the internet. Leave your opinions in the comment section, either now in the live chat or when I post this stream later. What are your thoughts and opinions about this? When people kind of bring the discipline to the internet, like literally showing the child's face, literally exploiting, putting out there, hey, this is what I felt like they did, and this is what I did about it. And maybe, like I said, the old school way, they feel like if the child feels embarrassed or, kind of on, what is that called? Public display. I'm just speaking the facts here. The old school people never had a problem, you know what I'm saying, making you feel humiliated about something you did when they trying to get a point across to you. Let's be honest. That's why they said back then you would get chastised by mom and extended family and dad. And they didn't just stay in the house. Let the family found out back then you did something. All of them jumping in. But then, to me, I think the people are a little lost because they'll hurry up and scream, it takes a village, right? But they get offended when they see these guardians and parents bring their kids to the internet to teach them something, Now, like I said, that story, the young lady was 11, but you have young ladies already out here walking the streets, prostituting and doing all that right about that age, 11, 12, 13, 14. If you don't believe me, ask CPS, ask people that's worked in services with children for a very long time. They'll tell you they be seeing prostitutes that young. And I don't care how they try to beautify it, you can't put that just on a child. People leave it at this, oh, somebody failed their child. Well, you said it took a village. I don't care if it's not your child. If one child in your community is being exploited like that, all of y'all failed. You want to call yourself a part of the community, but somebody else's child is out there being exploited, because maybe God looks at it this way, but you a part of their community. and they want to turn their head. Oh, I didn't know nothing. It's you still gonna be held accountable in the spiritual courts. Ties you a part of the community, but you're not doing absolutely nothing but running your mouth about how the children is out here being pimped out and prostituted before 18. Being prostituted out after 18 is bad, ain't it? But under 18, that's never just a parental problem to me. Yes, the parents bring the kids in the world. Trying to find the words to break this down when it comes to my reaction. They'll say, well, you had them, it's your responsibility. And then they be confusing me because then they be like, well, no, it takes a village. Yeah, well, the birthing process is just that process. You birth them, you begin to raise them. But see, we're not just going to play like parents and families are the only ones that influence on children, especially in modern day times. You got the music. You got all kind of other influences out there. They call it peer pressure. They don't know something until they're introduced to it, until they're exposed to it. You know? And I just didn't understand it. People make it like it's just well, something must be broken in the home. Yeah, the home and the system and the communities and the cities and the states and the countries. What do you mean? That's where the homes are located. They act like the homes just be like, come on, bro. I think that's the way they've been masking this. But I'm not going to lie. I have a goal to unmask every theory and motion and comment they have ever used to excuse this type of behavior. I'm sitting here speaking facts about countries that are literally trying to keep this legal right now. They're trying to keep this legal right now. They're literally fighting not just for LGBTQ rights when it comes to sexuality. They're fighting to actually be able to marry children. And you talking about this a household problem? No. In society, if you already have people that think that way, are your children safe to begin with? Talking about you had them. Yeah, I had them. In what kind of world? In what kind of society? In what kind of community? You know, they want to stop there. That way they don't have to answer those other questions. Acting like home is the only place that influences people, children. Like everybody child just in the home 24/7 a day. They don't go outside or nothing. That's when I would say a home influences a child. If they never leave their home, they just see them walls every day until they 18. That's a child you can say that a home influenced them. But I'm sorry, once they're introduced to family members, society, the world, other places, you cannot just say the home only influences somebody's child. That's crazy. See, them topics, then they all squirmy and uncomfortable because they know it's true. We're not judging you, but it's okay for you to judge others. Well, let's get to it. Why are there still communities and places that are fighting right now to be able to marry children? But you talking about this is people's homes that's affecting children. Let's really look at this here. That means before the children is already born, before the children was born, there were people in this world that they were born into who are attracted to children, whether it's your child or not. That's what I'm saying. The way God might look at it, everybody was too busy. Oh, I'm only looking out for my child. Well, how can you say you believe it takes a village? You got to make it make sense. They said that there's no way that you care about that child getting an education. You too busy worried about if they got a husband at the age of 10, so your family continues some type of generational wealth. You don't care about their emotions. You don't care about their education. You don't care about their psychological health. If you more worried about who they married to between the ages of 10 and 15. How does that make sense? That's why there are a lot of advocates that's still against that, like me. And I've gone through some struggles, and it never crossed my mind, oh, let me go sell my child. I promise to God, It just never crossed my mind, bro. Maybe a speaker, maybe a TV, maybe a pair of shoes I had. I have sold things like that. And people will judge you for that. But they be out here behind the scenes selling whole children, bro. God is not pleased. I was gonna say also, silence I used to think was just like a method of keeping the peace until God showed me a little more about silence. Like, yes, it's a gift, but it's one of those gifts you learn to use accordingly. Okay? I would never look at it as a weakness. I would say that it's also a method of keeping the peace. Are you really keeping the peace though when the whole time you silent the same issues of the world are going on? At least when you begin to speak, you can say you tried to speak. You never say nothing at all. But you want to be in the running of opinions that people I used to be like that. I'm thinking about it. I used to be to where, I just freely comment uh, or say something, but you look stupid after so long. If you ain't even been in those shoes, maybe God humbled me about that a long time ago. I ain't trying to be funny, because we all learn and grow at our own rates, but, He will you'll make an ass out of yourself, but He'll make an ass out of you too. Because why are you speaking on what you don't even have a full, understanding about? Any one of us. Now, I'm speaking on this right here, though. That is crazy that on this globe right now, and people think, oh, the earth perfect and the speakers need to shut up. No, the earth is not perfect. You got some kid somewhere living like she 30, but she only 10 because she got to be a wife. We're not talking about religion. We're talking about morality and humanitarianism for 1 second. It's crazy because you got those that probably would do it to their own family members and stuff. Like, in some cultures, they actually, yeah, it's the parents that give the daughter over. What do you mean? They own family. So then you have those that would never do this to their daughter. That's their opinion. They wouldn't even want to see their daughters in certain positions and situations. And I don't know which one I misunderstand more. The ones that say, I never do that. I never do that with my kid. And some of them ain't even religious. Some of them, because you can say that all day long and there's still somebody on the globe doing it to their daughter. Y'all like, what we supposed to do about it, Arthur Tedder Sherry? Be more understanding. Raise your awareness. That's what I said we could do about it, even if that's not your child or my child. This young lady is facing a death penalty for actually taking the life of her abuser. It's like, it's like they're trying to make a point. Like, yeah, you don't do that to your husband, even if you like him, even if you didn't choose him. That's what some women are going through. Then you can look at other women. What part of the culture are they, country are they in? I mean, judge it accordingly. Every area has their different issues, I'm sure. It's crazy. And prostitution, that's just one of those big ones. But at least in their culture, they probably like, well, at least I married her. It's like, it might not be prostitution, but how is it still kind of not as bad? It's a kid who didn't say, hey, yeah, I want to go marry that 40-year-old over there. Ain't no kid finna say that. They sure try to create anything, to make it just, well, you a kid, you do what I say. It's just crazy. You can use that for certain discipline, but that shouldn't be, not for that reason. You just messing a child mind up. What was we just talking about? The psychological effects. Which I don't want to mean any offense or anything like that. Because it's probably relationships like that. Because the kids do grow up and they still be in marriage arrangements. Even when they're adult. They with the same person. Mm-mm. Now, I am a Bible believer. That's what's crazy. Uh, I was just talking about that there's parts of the Bible that actually talk about marriage because it's like with every religion, they might have their own set of values or beliefs. That's why I feel like I'm a good candidate for this topic, really quick. Every book might look a little different. Even all the books in the Bible are different. You see, it's one book, but every book in the Bible is different, period. Some books are going to be able to more speak on certain life. Like I said, every religion has its own ethics, values. I'm trying to put it in terms anybody could understand. That is true. But even with the Bible, it's going to talk about marriage. It's going to talk about your children and what some other children went through. That's how uh, prevalent it is in history. Because we all know the Bible days was a different time period. In some, it's not. Because they're just prophecies. The whole purpose of a prophecy, I ain't gonna say the purpose, but the meaning of it is usually it hasn't happened yet. That's a prophecy for you. But once again, I'm not here to argue religions with any other religion and what they believe. But every books, they all gonna have their own set of principles, values. That's just the fact, and what we believe, that's another level of it. Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to talk too deep about it, but since I'm on the topic, uh, nobody ever just asks, do they? Where's I'm not even gonna say respect. What's her name? Patti LaBelle? Not Patti LaBelle, the one who sing Respect. Respect. Find out what it means to me. Respect. That's right. Just a little bit. That's what she's saying. Just a little bit. And she was a woman. And she sang that song. And it was a world hit. Just like they have songs like It's a Man's World by James Brown. Or there's other artists, right, in the world for sure. All kind of artists or musicians. But yeah, that was her song. Respect. I ain't gonna even say the word though. Like understanding. If I did a song about it. Y'all might not find that funny. I'm trying to lighten up the. Yeah, like with women for sure, and young women, even if they're still kids. And they like, what you mean? You just get an understanding? You deserve an understanding because you're a woman? Ain't nothing harmful about at least sitting down, not speaking, just actively listening. I guess to a woman when she needs to talk, whether it's how she's talking, positive, negative, mediocre, in between, whatever it is. Understanding. That don't mean both of y'all nodding heads at each other. It's just like understanding first. You might not agree with the person saying. You listening. Listening opens the door to understanding. It really do. How you gonna understand something you don't know? You not even well, I ain't gonna say something, but how you gonna understand somebody you not listening? And then what kind of active listener are you? How do you process information? You might not even fully understand it as they tell you. You think about it 2 weeks later, you got a better understanding. But guess what? The first door was that active listening. You intook it. It wasn't just going through one ear and out the other. You just didn't understand it. Do people know what the word understand means? Active listening opens the door to that. Now, how you process that, like I said, you could have heard it in that moment. You think about it 2 hours later. Oh, I finally caught that joke. Or, oh, I see what she was saying, because you end up experiencing something similar. or whatever way life shows you a better understanding, because life will do that too. I don't care who don't want to admit it. Life will give you a better. If you ain't live, you ain't live. Ain't nothing wrong with living. People think living is just getting on yachts and, oh, I'm living. No, have you lived? Do you know what understanding is? Everybody wants it. How you gonna pay for that? Have you lived? It's okay if life haven't given you an experience, a time or two, to give you a better understanding, not even of yourself, not even of the situation, a whole understanding about somebody else. But they ain't live yet. I ain't heard the priest today. They said they living going on yachts. Ain't nothing wrong with yachts and cruise ships and vacations, trying new foods, traveling. They like, oh, that's too deep. Have we lived? You don't mean it offensively. They're inspirational. Because look, even if you don't pay attention to some affairs in the world at all, these things be happening or going on. You just one less person that probably just unaware. That's not an understanding. If you're not aware a little bit, showing a little awareness shows you heard about it somewhere, you researched it a little bit, somebody told you about it, whatever it was. But now you got a better understanding of whatever, you know. So when I try to get an understanding about what other women might be going through, I don't have time to whatever level of mentality I'm on now. You don't want to just look at the women where you are or in your vicinity or in your face. No matter who you around, there's other women in the world every day. We all are different. In my opinion, there is no fairest of them all. No. Women are all created differently. And guess what? Guess where it starts? When they were born, when they're children. That's when I ain't saying you become a whole woman yet. I'm saying that's where that process starts. I really hate that people try to nail so much into sex. NAIL. And I'm not even talking about the act. I'm talking about, right, like male, female, all the different, sexes there are out there. Even with animals, you don't see the animals out here like, well, yeah, you do. And that's what's crazy about it. Those natural beasts out there, they just go out there and mate. And you're not comparing us to that. That's my point. Humans are not animals. How can I prove that? Well, we might be like mammals or some form of creature to other creatures because we have more going on. We driving in cars, so you got to act more civilized. It's people that's 18 and a little older who marry somebody older, and people still, disagree with stuff like that. They be like, oh, that's too big of an age difference. And then some people lie about their ages. This is really how the world is. Some people lie about their ages just to date or be around people. Others, like I said, it depends on the law where you stay in the country. What are the practices there? What is the law there? Just because of your sex. That's why I say it's really people at the end of the day, they might tie these kind of things back to religion. Because yes, and there are times in history where these practices were this. And some people just still practice it. That's it, guys. If laws don't change at the end of the day, I'm not saying like about this. I'm saying about anything. It's gonna stay the same way that it always is. That's why people end up standing up speaking, you know, if and where they can, actually. Hmm. If and where they can. But this one young lady I was just reading about, let me click my laptop back on here. It says her sentence is symbolic. I'm back to reading this real quick. Her sentence is symbolic of Iranian authorities' use of death penalty to create fear and discriminatory laws and societal factors that have led to this situation. So it's just very humbling. It's where I left off talking about, like just having to read these kind of stories and really take in that there are women going through higher levels of maybe what I would consider that. If you once again, if you're a child, you're not a woman, but you're being subjected to that life at an earlier age. Let's see. The highest number of recorded execution of women in more than 15 years. Wow. At least 30 women have been executed in 2025 so far. In 2024, at least 419 people. What? So one was the juvenile and 19 other women. Oh, for murder charges, a high number of executions since 2010. And then I wonder, when they say executions, do they just mean one way or another? Because to me, that can be legal, like in a legal way too, if we really think about it. Mm-mm. In 2024, there are 649 cases of choosing forgiveness. See, it go back to religion. It says forgiveness instead of execution. 649 cases choosing. Okay, so what? They do like a public apology? She confessed to doing this to her husband and had subjected to months of physical and verbal abuse. It's a sad thing what happened to him at this time, and condolences to his, because we got to understand, with all these stories people be having, they had lives and people that loved them. That's what's crazy. You don't know what everybody do behind your back. You just love people. But her claims is that she was being subjected to physical and verbal abuse. She later retracted this and told the judge that her brother-in-law, who she did, had committed. Mm. So it's like they trying to make her. I don't know. It says she confessed, but later she told them somebody else did it. But either way, people don't want to stand around and watch nobody doing it to nobody. I'm not saying that that's right. And then she facing the a penalty for this. You can say things, even when I think about it, I can use myself for an example. You can say things and like think you have it so tough or hard or something. Uh, and that's why. Because some people just wonder, why you so. I like to just count my blessings, man. Even if to other people it look like I ain't got but a few. That is so crazy. Them few can be a whole different. That one out of the few could be just, you're not even going through that. But it don't mean that women might not still have to fight to, keep that, what you would call straight and narrow life for themselves. It's just like, period. What I look at it like is, no matter what sex you are, we're all human. It's never a bad time in life to remind the people we're all human. What are you, another creature because you're a different sex? No, no sir, no ma'am. We all human. That's just my opinion, y'all. That's just how I talk. Uh, that's my opinion, right? Like if I had a strong argument about it. That's why the sex matter. We have to know who we are. But I think people take it deep, like with the, because as you notice, it's not women that's there. There are probably women involved though, because we know the young girls have mothers. It's so crazy. Like, what? They just gonna go around and teach everybody that practice to just stamp and own? Because your kids are getting to you as a gift, in my opinion. And you have your kid knowing that day, oh, later in life, this kid is probably have to go into child marriage. That's crazy. As you holding your baby on the first newborn day. But if it's always been like that, that's why change would be scary. I'm sure they've had some, in certain parts of the world, they have had changes. Once again, it's just become illegal in some places. This whole practice. Most places they want them. I think the youngest I've seen is maybe in a certain state 16 at least with the, and they gotta have an emancipation, like they already like an independent person, or I think it's something like that, like the parent can co-sign. In some states it probably is like that. I think that's how it is though. I didn't even look it up real quick. I know it's something like that. They can if the parent consents on the contract, I think they can allow. Because if, have y'all ever watched that show 16 and Pregnant? It's a whole MTV show. I don't know if it still airs right now, but you can probably always go back and find seasons. And they got another one called Teen Mom. I used to like Teen Mom better than 16 and Pregnant. But when you're a woman, it's not saying this show is reserved for women. Anybody can watch it. It's just like those maternity channels when they're having babies, getting through a pregnancy. Women, we watch those kind of channels. All kind of people do, but because maybe they just want to see the cycle, like, oh, okay, what is it like, or when the baby coming out, what is that like, and stuff like that. But yeah, I used to enjoy that show, Teen Mom, more than 16 and Pregnant. But both of them show the realities, even if they're not being forced into the lifestyle, the real realities of a, what you would call a teen's mom, or 16 and Pregnant. The realities of it. Even if you're not one of those other kids and you're being put in child marriages, some of them still get pregnant. That's what those shows 100% displayed. They weren't even forced into it. They have their little boyfriends at the young age. So we was talking about that other uh, viral video of the grandmother talking to her granddaughter at 11 years old or whatever, just having to talk with her and no boyfriend. Because some people didn't agree with how she was talking to her and disciplining her. But you do have shows called 16 and Pregnant. I guess that would be showing that she's exhibiting that is not the direction she wants for her loved young one. The vultures, they gonna always be outside. That's nature for you. The birds, the vultures, it ain't going nowhere. They can just grow up and be kids. There's love still outside too. It might seem scarce, I don't know. It's not even a pretend game. If that's like the comfortability energy you like to sit in that makes you most comfortable, you can be there. It's not to try to impress nobody. Like, yeah, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love. Like to impress nobody. If that's the energy you usually sit in, sit there. It'll show you a lot. Like, why would people feel like you don't feel love just because they don't? Real talk. They don't love you. You get some of them. This day tradition. They might not look at it like, oh, I don't love my young daughter. That's their tradition. Maybe it's looked at as like a weakness or something if you actually don't practice it and stuff. You're not making excuses for it. It's just shows why it's probably been going on so long. People really give it a great resistance when you're like, no, child marriage, we need to let it go. Like, look, and the world slowly just gonna keep showing people, in my opinion. Like the fact that you even think that should stay, there's nothing wrong. They'll say the Bible said obey your masters, and okay, but that don't mean abuse it. See? Look at that scripture. They do try to use that scripture like, oh, obey your masters and your leaders, don't they? But how is that God saying the leaders and masters should be manipulative? I don't care. I care about God and His Word. I'm saying I don't care about like giving my opinion about this, because that's where that probably a lot of people did get hung up right there when they read the Bible about certain things. Like, yeah, it say obey, especially with women. Let's talk about it, especially with women. The Bible do say whole, you know, instructions. It gives advice of instructions for a woman to live her life. The Bible do. I can even name some books specifically you can turn to in the Bible that's going to talk about it. Okay, so boom, I got that part out the way. But how does that mean? That's like you going to tell a dog, you listen to me, I'm the dog owner. Okay, boom. How the dog owner, that just mean you can do whatever. That's like saying God is saying it. Just, rewriting it. It's like rewriting it and trying to reiterate and re-say what he's saying, but you're not that sex. You're not that sex that actually applies that to their life. Like they was born as a whole woman and they try to read the Bible and say, let me be this virtuous woman. Let me try to read about this and see about this. Do you give women a chance to do that? Or you already control them, period. It's okay to cry because look, the world gonna have to go through a whole healing process. They just don't feel where you coming from yet. You can be born a woman, you can be born a man. Nobody controls that. You just jump in there and start doing stuff. Hold on. And then bring up Eve, because there are other like religions that believe, Adam and Eve actually existed and some other stuff. They'll try to go there like, well, this is what happened right here. And maybe it wasn't a game. Maybe some of the stuff we see today is because of that too. God did tell that woman not to eat out that tree. But we talking about women. Women and their relationships with God. In some cultures, they already have to have that at an early age. But you don't dictate like, no, it's just by this book. If it's by this book, let's talk about this book. Certain sentences, it says woman. If you believe in God or a higher power, and it says woman in that sentence, he's not talking to you unless you're a woman. You can't just, well, you the woman, it says right here, I'm the leader. Y'all should be equal, first of all, but that's another topic. Ain't nothing wrong with having a leader, a head. And the Bible do talk about your masters and lawmakers. But that's exactly why. If you're going to use this book against anybody, you're going to tell me why that you trying to make God look like that mean be harsh to people. God don't want nobody being harsh to people. I can show you where it says love one another. That's all. Love one another. Do unto others. It really don't say that in there. That's just like a quote. But it talk about that. Pretty much something similar. And every religion, like I said, have its own morals. morals, principles, ethics that they go by, that they try to teach the people, at an urge, how they eat, what they practice, what it is. In some place like the beautiful America, United States, you can actually have the freedom to maybe date or meet who you want to, even if they're the same sex. So uh, it's you don't see that as much, I guess, but it is a country I seen in the news for that, where they actually banned something like that. They made it illegal. I promise, it was somebody. Y'all can go look it up. They made it illegal to marry same sex. I don't remember where in the news what country this was. It was when everybody else was kind of changing it. It was kind of like a rift, a wave where people was kind of changing it. The laws in between, abortion laws, and still things to me that have to do with and pertaining to human rights. Over and over again. Look, why? Because you always gonna have a set of people that just always want to violate that. They talking about where extra money going. I don't know, man. Like, the people who violate human rights, they're making it hard for everybody. You don't say who's making it hard for everybody. Just women or just this sex or this gender. No. Human rights is human rights. You do not have to like what somebody do or if it has to do with their human rights, you don't have to like that. Stay away from them. Some people can't. You stuck in a community together, a city together somewhere. That's why a lot of people broke up during the pandemic. They got a whole divorce. They ain't seen each other since the pandemic type stuff. This happens sometimes with natural disasters, but people probably didn't know that. Families get torn apart. I'm serious. You know what a natural disaster is? Ask the people of Hurricane Katrina. That's not human rights. That's natural disaster. If a natural disaster happened to you and break a family up, that's understandable. If a natural disaster happened to you, of a loved one lose a life, or y'all get a divorce, that's understandable. It was a whole natural disaster. Something else bigger than y'all relationship was going on. That's a natural disaster. You just being against human rights, that makes no sense. That's causing the country extra money. It really is. I don't know. It's crazy. Like, how is that not costing the country money? People coming against people human rights. It's just time for everybody to grow up. Like, really, that's my commentary and reaction to this. It's been in the law how long? You want everybody to obey the law. I guess that's what power is about. The people that don't have to, I guess. But human rights, like, okay, so maybe some people just believe children don't have them. They just want to believe that. But guess what? That's their human right to believe that children don't have rights. The fact is, the child has a human right too to know that it does have rights. If it's a boy child or a girl child, children have rights. If they don't, the world is changing anyway. Why don't the children have rights? But I know they do. That's why I already spoke about this. Those parts of the world still exist too, where they have rights. You have to teach people right. Everybody have human rights in some places. The word human. The word human. Human rights. They be like, my rights, my rights. Yes, human rights. Yep. I got it. Not animal right. Even the animals got rights. In some of these countries, the animals got rights. And some they don't. Ain't it sad? The world is not perfect. The world's not perfect. And it can't all change overnight. But we can say some of these older ancient practices, if people want more human rights pertaining to them, why not? That's great. People begin to elevate their spirituality and their beliefs. That's great. Probably because it's their human rights. So if they want to have more human rights, even to protect themselves when background noise is religion, that's still human rights. There's nothing wrong with expanding them, growing them. Because I think at the end of the day, it would just kind of teach and force people. It seemed like stuff like this has been happening anyway, more to work together. It shouldn't be a forceful process. It just shouldn't be. But it's happened time and time again in history. If something natural happens, you'll see that a lot sometimes. The people come together. You don't have time to argue and fight. You're trying to survive. What? Some things you go through in life, if it's a natural disaster, you don't have time to fight and fuss. You're trying to actually survive. You're going to be more trying to help everybody, and everybody trying to help everybody. Those ones that are man-made, though, that's what we're talking about here. For anybody that was lost where I'm coming from. With this humanitarian topic, humanitarian, I'm just saying that word, but rights topic, it goes back to that. Because why would you want to keep it a world where the kids have absolutely no rights? Because you can make them non-existent. What if they are, God looks at them as the closest to him? And you like, well, down here in this realm in life and where I can see, as far as I can see, they're not going to have rights. And the whole time, God looks at it like they should. He don't change. They say he don't change. It's just like their younger age. Some people just, they say that for real. They be like, age just a number. So that's how they look at life. And it get them in trouble in some places because, no. It's just clear things you can prove that a child is not an adult, bro. It's not just a number. You're not trying to shame, or maybe that's what is happening in the world right now. They talking about it's just the time of exposure, the time of, I call it the time of truth. Others call it the age of Aquarius. Everybody call it something. A new time is coming, something like that. Okay, they said that they believe in it, or they believe in God or a higher power, because if you're doing things in the name of religion, what are you really doing? You're doing things, okay, that's why it gets brought into it. Okay, then you bring the book in, and I'm a woman. There is specific scripture, it says it's talking about or to a woman when Jesus was talking. Or God was stating things, because we know before these texts with what Christ supposedly said were in the book, it was just like scrolls and stuff written by prophets. There was nobody walking around talking about they was God or Christ or the Son of God. These was just straight translated, like all of them describing pretty much different experiences, but like the same God, literally. So you saying after Eve bit the forbidden fruit, God didn't love the woman no more. That's pretty much what it seems like people believe. I don't. Women wasn't perfect in the Bible days like they not now. You can have your laws and standards. If people didn't break them, there wouldn't be people in jail, prisons, uh, facilities. Like, come on, man. So who's perfect? Jails don't just have men; they have women. We are equal on those levels if you pay attention. Whether you're a man or woman, you break the same law, you can get the same penalty. They are trying to make it look like, oh, sex is a factor. It's only a factor so far. In some places, equality is a whole thing. When it comes to judgment and justice, equality is a whole thing. With gender, period. It's gonna be equal right there. So other times you wouldn't like, no, I'm the boss, I'm the head. Ain't nobody, it ain't no who wear the pants thing. It's like, why y'all can't be equal? She break the same law you do, she can get in trouble. Same penalty. Now depending on what's that called? Like if the person is a repeat offender, all that matter too. So it doesn't matter the sex right there. If you a first time felon, that's different from a 3-time felon. I don't care. You might look at both people and say, well, they both felons. Well, that one is a 1-time felon, that one is a 3-time felon. They be trying to put everything in the same box. It seems like the 1-time felon learned something. That's how it was. They said when Jesus was on the cross, it was like 2 other people up there, 2. They didn't put them all in the same box, but they all got the same penalty. And one of them was innocent. And we want to make this about sex? All of them was the same sex. It's crazy. Just like I was talking to somebody last night about the Hebrew boys story. Yeah, they was they call them the Hebrew boys. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's why I believe they was really Hebrew. Listen to the names. Listen to the names. Okay, and then you can go translate certain names too. Don't translate it in English. Translate it in whatever their language is. You learn a lot. Anybody name. You can go look up like, hey, does this name have a meaning? But anyways, that's a deeper topic. Because it does matter. When you're born, whatever sex you are, you get a name. Thank you. Huh? Okay. Yeah, you get a name. Depending on what language you pick the name in, that's up to you. But every name means something. People should care. There are some cultures that take names very serious. Not saying nobody does, but it's a main part of they don't just name their kids anything. All their kids have, before it's child bride, any of that, their names alone have a significance. Some people will never forget that. They're keeping it very strong in the heritage, in the lineage, in the bloodline. The names mean something to them. Which it should to everybody, you know. But this is just my commentary and condolences to this young lady and what she's going. I know I'm probably sounding more like giving sympathy for her, like she's the victim, because now the victim has created a victim. That's really what this story is about with this young lady. She's 25. That's a young age still. So they're just kind of waiting to see what she have to pay money to the family. Like, I guess damages to the court, to the family. I wonder if they can let her work it off if she don't have it or something. But look how those situations are created. Now this person is in debt to these people. They got to work for them and be like this for them because of something somebody else put you in. That's crazy. That's why people can pay attention to their life if they want to. They can think they have it hard and there's a sex like them somewhere else going through something totally different. Just when they born, what they born into. What you mean? And he'd be like, why she so jolly every day? Because I always remember and think about that every day in life. When it pertains to even, other women or young ladies I might love or care about, which is really all of them. You don't wish I don't really any harm on women. Like they probably don't even look at our sex the same way that I do. I already understand it. And I'm not like a lesbian or nothing. It's just I look at women on another level. Like really nothing be that deep to me anymore. Because of how I've already not humilitized in a way like humiliation, but like humility. Like humilitize myself before I see any woman, hear her story. I know that other ones exist. I'm not the only one. I know it just on a deeper level. It's like we can be on different financial class, different things all day long, look different, come from different families. We can even be different races. I still understand women. And I've never been lesbian a day in my life. They don't understand me probably like this. I look at different women different. Not in a bad way. Like my insight about this is just deeper now. Now, did I say I know everything about women and females? No. But what I do know, the new the things I do see, uh, so that's just what it wraps back up about to me, like human rights. Cause like, how do you control what sex you are when you're born? And if you were a certain sex, if you're not, how can you say who you would be if you were naturally born that way? You can try to create it and all of that, but how do you know who you truly would have been if you was born? Anybody can ask themselves that. I said the word born. How do you know who you like me? I joke sometimes and be like, if I was a man and I say something and ha ha ha. But it is a few R&B, American R&B songs like a Boy by Sierra or Think Like a Man, all these different songs. Like If I Were a Boy, I think that's by Sierra or Beyonce. I'm thinking of both of them. They got a song like that where they talking about if they was a man, what they would do. Oh yeah, and they was hits, but people can't act like they forgot. It's deeper than role playing. It's something that you can really ask yourself, like, who would I be if I was a different sex? You can't really even say. If you ask me, you can only try to do that. You don't know until you're actually born it. And this is where it gets like exposed too. With what's been going on in the world, it's like, okay, everybody been doing what they want to do. Every time you do that, you're leaving whole generations behind, and it shows in the future generations. It's showing us this far. What might have been going on in the last generation, not just in one household. It's never just one household. It's the whole generation. What was society like at that time? What is society like now? Because everybody doing what they want to do. Everybody after the dollar. Like, oh, everybody getting used. Like, what? and the kids getting left behind, the generations getting left behind, I'm not finna be a part of that. It do get hard or whatever, but I ain't trying to leave. I'm like Obama, no child left behind. But yes, it does start at home. You gotta take care of your own first. It's like they want everybody nose in the corner. Take care of your own kids. Everybody mind your business. 6 feet apart. But they was saying it takes a village. And shout out to those that was working hard behind the scenes with the EBT, because we got to remember in some parts of the world they don't even have EBT. They don't have food stamps. They don't have health care. That's the thing. It might be more like, well, they have health care, but it might not be affordable to everybody. So we are, from You Will Make It TV's families to those that work in those sectors that have helped families, even if it's for another 2 weeks or a month. We all should see now. People should be grateful. And this time they give people like an alert. Okay, now you know you got, if you wasn't working, because some of the working class was saying that affected them as well. People just assume, first they'll say a job is a job. But then when you can't make ends meet, I don't know what their advice is. Because some of those people are on food stamps too. That work. They don't make that much. That's why they qualify. They just be trying to, oh, I work. Okay. What is the food cost? What is the pay the person's making? What is the person's household size? What is the person's age? What is the person's demographic, right? What is their nationality? All that. If human rights didn't matter, they wouldn't ask those questions. In some countries, they matter. Any country, murder is, or red rum is illegal. Most places, that's illegal. The other parts, though, it's legal. Probably like the child bride marriages and stuff. But red rum, that's going to always be illegal a lot of places you go. I'm sorry, male or female. So equality does matter. Human rights does matter. The law is the same when it comes to sexes. It's the abuse part that people don't understand. That's against human rights. In the first place, it's already hard to for a lot of these women to even get prosecutions, right? Like they'll handcuff you if you do something like that. Just for your safety, your protection, because they're going to teach you protect yourself. Most places you go in the world, protect yourself. Then they get that far. That's why she in this situation. The 25-year-old, she took it into her own hands and just, or whatever happened, but she did mention that part, like she was being subjected to that. And it's the law there. That's why it don't ever change. They didn't ask, it's not saying they should be innocent, but those situations I feel like should be exempt or something, because the young lady didn't even ask to be in it. She should have been somewhere, right? It's easy to say, but we're just saying she should have been somewhere like at school or at kid activities, at home cooking with mom, something like that. Even if dad works a lot or whatever. Because they just put him with them husband. How you know that means that he's treating that young lady right? Soon as she, day one with some of these women relationship, day one, the man done already enforced his dominance Ask some ladies. They probably won't speak on it, but day one, they was already experiencing it. So I don't judge nobody who is just like, oh, get away, because they will get penalized if they get violent towards the man too. They could get that, okay, then sex and equality matters. Assault is assault, battery is battery, right? Forceful natures and stuff like this. They want to talk about narcissism and all this stuff now. Uh, no, like assault is a whole nother thing. You can do that your first time, just trying to. A person that ain't never hit nobody before, they can end up having to. It's a real fact. They can end up having to do it one day for their whole protection. And they had never touched a fly, right? And they still standing in the same courtroom as that person that's another sex. That's why people are passionate about these topics. We both can get the same trouble for that. And it's like, maybe people know that, so they be trying to get you to like, I don't know. Or they enforced it where you scared because you don't see most women dominating their men. It's just never been really quite nature, even in the animal kingdom. It's gonna be the other way, but I guess every man do it different. That's what we talking about. Like asserting, that's how I look at that. Me personally. Asserting their dominance. Pretty much. Like, and what is that about? When y'all are supposed to be equal. The transgender, all the different sexes, they're supposed to be equal. Why do you still have people out here trying to dominate others? And they'll say, it ain't about the sex, I just want to dominate that person. Well, what is it? Which one is it? Or show that. Because if you got to do that just to keep the person, why not want somebody else that wants to stay? That's crazy. That's my way of encouraging people. Like if it get to that, but people would just be like, no, we love each other, and they stay in it. So we're not judging that either. We're saying some people are against that, like abuse, and fighting on their significant other. When it's a woman like that, especially if they are a child bride, how do you know they're not going through that? How do you know they're not going through that? We're not talking like spankings or standing time out anymore. You hold Mary. Like I said, it's like people was trying to assert that anyway these days into society. Like, even where it isn't legal, right? It's like they had a mentality, if we do this so much, they'll just accept it. Everybody will have to start doing this. We're going to do it anyway type. Like that. Like, what kind of mind frames is these? And they want to be first in line to judge people's mental states. It doesn't matter your sex. You have women doctors, men doctors. They both get the same degree. Y'all see where I'm coming from? Like, they don't, oh, you're a woman doctor on your school degree. Both of y'all gonna have the same degree. It doesn't matter that you're a different sex. The world has changed in this way already. That's why we do have hope about other things where it still seems to be some type of a real existent power struggle or resistance when it comes to women's rights. You can't say women don't deserve their rights if the whole world of women ain't never had their own rights before. We ain't talking about just one place or a place over here. Like, okay, all women got rights now. or it's 100% illegal to come against women's rights now. Not just here and there, just like, or here nor there. How am I trying to say it? Like, yeah, you cannot say, no, women wouldn't know what to do with it. You're not saying give them the assertiveness of dominance. You're saying women's rights, where they are women. We're not asking for dominance. That's just against, not all of us. I know that much, but you do. I was just saying, I'm not trying to be biased. It's just always been more natural for the man to assert that. So that's what you've always seen. But there are ways that we do that. You see? Through those ways just shows everybody's different. But how far does assertiveness of dominance, how far has that been allowed lately in the ways that people putting it out there? Maybe it's not new, but they just like, yeah, this, just asserting it. Asserting means you kind of trying to penetrate it through. Like, it probably didn't penetrate through, but it's definitely poking you type of deal. Because you're trying to assert something. You're trying to assert it forward, stick it in. Like, what? I don't know. It just made me like, I don't fear dominance, but I'm not stupid about it. You know? That's my opinion about that. Like, how much do I need? And I know I'm a woman every day I wake up. That's crazy. A woman can't forget she a woman because she's going to have a natural menstrual cycle every month. Most women, yep, until they hit a certain age. Or that's another thing about that. They want to assert dominance over all of it. It's just crazy. Like, I think it's even animals that have menstrual cycles. Whole animals, dogs and mammals and stuff, they have menstrual cycles as well. If you have too many people just, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, right? What is you turning people into? Everybody want, and it's okay to want things, but like a certain 100% dominance, the whole world doing it for what all the things they want, and some people whole greedy out here. And then like trying to normalize this on people, that's crazy. Like, no, we want to be able to marry the kids. We should be able to do that. Why? Well, because we had them. I don't know what their response would be. I'm trying to get an understanding. You had them, so you feel like you can, what? But that's what you get when you got people running around here talking about, you had them, they your responsibility. Obviously, they're the villages, because if people are not properly doing it, they do have services and advocacy groups and stuff out here that can help step in for those children. That's the thing about it. Because the dominance is more important to you than the well-being for whatever of either or the parent. But like I said, you can't just pop up in the world and suddenly pretend that most dominance was not asserted in the world by men. Yes, women have had influence. It's not saying all men are abusive. Abusive and dominance is two different things. Abuse is just something totally different, bro. Or you just have some people that show their dominance, assert their dominance differently. That's all this is about. because I see where it could be needed when you're a leader, when you're a boss, when you have a lot of responsibility. You have no title at all. You just have a lot of responsibilities. That's a title. That's a title. You got a lot of responsibilities. That's a title. You don't have to be a certain career title, a husband, a wife, to assert dominance over your own life. Once again, the whole world of women at the same time have never had a time ever that I can think of that every woman across the globe was being allowed to use her natural women's right at every given time. When I see that, then you can tell me women don't know how to handle their freedom, or well, you're not trying to teach women, yeah, everybody leave your man. That's not what you're saying. Know the difference between dominance and not saying these kids have a choice. In some of these cultures and religions and families, they don't have a choice. That's why their stories are different. You can't just when it's in the name of religion somewhere, their story gonna be different. Because they usually end up finding out that was the practice, that was the culture, that's what everybody had been doing. Yeah. And it's hard to judge that from a whole nother, that's how their country does it. Kids just go outside and they be like, kids should have a childhood. Woo. That's like Xing out the reality that in some countries, no matter what you say, kids are going through something way different than what you think you're judging people in a whole free country. Like what? In a whole free country, you can't judge their children the same way you would judge children in the other parts. Children are children. That's why those rights matter. Now, if you know a person had all their rights, because I don't see where discord could come through that. If anything, it's the people who don't understand it. Hey, everybody got human rights. That's costing the country a lot of money. The country, the world. I didn't say nothing else further. It seems to be a fact. You're costing people things, their lives, their sanities, their futures and stuff. Forcing them, infringing on their human rights. I'm talking about the children first. Just talking about, oh, children don't have no rights. Where is it? What religion is that in? When most religions believe children, they're the closest to the spiritual realm. They're the closest to God. And in the lower level realms, because they just probably have some kind of creepy, dark fantasy about children anyway. And then in the lighter realms, they're just still close. They say they're close to God. They're more sensitive to the spiritual realms. That's how special children are. What do you mean they don't have rights? Just basic rights. Of course, they probably get in these marriages. They eat. They have their necessities. But you can have that at home with your parents until a certain age. But even some of them, that's what I was trying to tell y'all, over 18, they still be kind of, required to get into arranged marriages. Uh, and maybe some people just feel like they have their strong opinion too against mine. They feel like they should be able to marry who they want to. Anybody across the globe, maybe that's why they go over there. They can have them younger. Don't blame it on black women and attitudes or certain races of women or how women are this and that. It's some people literally have started traveling. It's none of our business. They rather date other preferences. You got social media now. It allows you to meet people all over the world. Like I said, it's like they trying to assert, no, well, it's going to be right. We like it anyway. We don't care if the law is wrong about it. They have to care. That's why it's illegal in some places. You know, some places still fighting for that to be whole illegal. I think that's dangerous because a child could be like a heir. Well, I think in their customs, sometimes it is like that. Like money is a whole part of it. The child could have an inheritance or some, be a heir, and this person just wants to marry the child because it's 11 or 12. It would just make me. I don't understand it. No, wait till this person with this money is conscious and aware of their own life. They don't need you marrying them at no 10 and 12. So they can know what they want to do with their money. You need to marry the child. The child don't need you. Especially if they got their parents. Maybe that's why they try to break them down, look needy, so you can be like, yeah, go ahead, and that's really dirty in itself, because people need help taking care of their kids. That's why I said shout out to those lawmakers and things that were behind the scenes and help to get some help to some of these states for people and for children, predominantly. Y'all have it mistaken too. People silly, like, it's people that don't have kids. They get food stamps, y'all. It's just them. That's what did you think people was talking about when they said that the economy has risen, the prices of things have risen a little bit? So it's just them. They might have a one-bedroom apartment, an efficiency, a car. That's still bills, even if it's just you. Think realistically. Think realistically. It's just you. You still have bills. You still got all this insurance. Then you got health care. And you think some of them people ain't on food stamps? They don't have kids. Period. Bills have gotten higher. Products have gotten higher. Food, all of it. Even before or without food stamps. That's why people felt it quick. It shows you that. Right? If you're giving people this as assistance, why would it have affected people like that? Yes, the workforce, I already mentioned it as my, I was saying that my theory, how that would be more important. Yes, we understand everything else, but do we have these bridges over water to help people cross over and transition into these jobs that you say are available? For them to get to work into? Do they have the resources that they need to get to ROWORK 8 to 10 or 12 hours a day? Like, let's make it make sense. Or else they would be just stuck on that. If you're not really doing that, they would just be stuck on it. That's why some programs, they've already started more like mandatory job workforce classes, mandatory job searches and stuff like this. This is not just free food stamps and stuff. Like, people be having to do other stuff just to stay on those. Like, okay, boom. So you have that and those requirements, and yes, they might provide transportation. Like, I've been through different ones myself, and it was like actually a beautiful experience. Even if I never do it again, that's the goal, to just stay on a long-term career at the end of the day. Just like most people. But, your goals might be a little different. Maybe you're going to get to show that one day, too. It can be goals so big, it take a minute, because it's just you. I didn't know you're supposed to give up because you're a woman, or because you're a single mother. Because, yeah, pretty much back to that, nobody should be subjected. Dominance is dominance. How you assert that to me, like, says a lot. Whether you're a man or a woman. They be trying to make you look so like something else. First, it just felt like something else. But no, when you really think about it, it's like, if you're not careful, they'll try to make you like, well, you're me, you're a man. You act like a man. You talk like a man. You put up with things like a man. You go through what a man goes through. You see what I'm saying? But you're a whole woman the whole time. It's like, how you gonna tell me that? I have a period every month that reminds me I'm a woman. Whether you want to switch me with something else or not. If I indulge in certain acts, I could whole totally end up with a child in my womb. I'm a woman. Then when a woman more starts to awaken to herself and really truly understand, like, oh, this is who I am, or you don't want, okay. So, anyways, you want to be humble with your freedom and independence and solitaire because you know that not everybody has that fortune or yeah, I said the word fortune because it's like gold, but it ain't free to people. You don't know how much people fight or have to give up or do or give uh just for that their independence. Everybody just want that, but you thought you don't have to like give anything, like pay for that, like you just want to assert dominance in that area where you look like a leader, you look like the best boss, you look like the best navigator, whatever they want to call it. People be in a rush, a fight to be head, you know. God showed me a lot about that. But there's like I said, responsibilities with an S is a title in itself. Anybody with a set of them, which should be all of us. You're not responsible to go marry nobody's child. That's just something people want to do, honestly. When you look at it as a human rights level thing. Somebody be whole subjected to that. A child just because somebody want that. Or what? Need that? It's crazy. And it be whole grown people. Even maybe people younger than you. Still legal, but younger than you. They just go that direction. Like, and then that's what's crazy. I don't believe for a second that they just be committed to a kid, they kid wife. You know they probably be doing other stuff. It's just weird. Now you have this child to yourself. But they like, well, let's children, hungry children on the street. We can give them see, it's all going on at the same time. You got cuts of food in some places, poverty getting worse. Them trying to rebuild after food crisis, after natural storms and stuff, natural disasters. And some, the kids, they been marrying them, so they not even hungry. But it's other things like the psychological parts or the missing school parts. Them being robbed of the right to be a child while they're a child. You're only a child once. So how is that not robbing somebody or something? By the time they get older, that's why they fall into depression. There's been a lot of that too, like reports of them, pretty much committing suicide just to get out of some of these situations. You know, uh, cause yeah, they know if they fight back, it's like this young lady where you're on trial. Um, it's just unfortunate, and it keeps you humble more every day, knowing that you just one person, and this stuff is going on all over the world. You know, they like, well, at least they're eating. Yeah, because you're married. You got a whole nother adult that y'all got some whole other stuff going on. They're eating, but what about their psychological health? What about you robbing them of, their childhood years? Once they grow up and think about it, like, oh my God, now they mature. Now they thinking about their life. Now they looking at their kids that they done had with this husband they had to get married to because they family said it. They looking at their kids like, That was once me. Wait a minute. I was sold, or I was had to marry him as a kid. Now my daughter's gonna go through that, raising kids with this person, and they want you to have no feeling about it at all. But it's whole scriptures about God talking directly to women like no other species. Where like as if he got a whole understanding with them too. Or if you say you religious, why wouldn't you want your wife like that? Do you really believe what you say you believe? Why wouldn't she already, if y'all are marrying in the name of religion and what you believe a book says you can do, or what the woman should be to you, how she should be subjected to you and under you, your thumb and rule. But this is a long conspirized topic, because it's slowly still changing for the embetterment of the people. If you have healthier adults, maybe they know that all together as a collective, you have healthier adults, you have healthier children. That's my opinion. That's never a bad thing, to try to help elevate the consciousness of the people about where things are wrong. Because the healthier we are, the healthier the next generation is. And showing them a better way, not just complaining about how where they should be more submissive. Literally, how much submission have they already given though? They want to cover that up and just say, oh, they kids, they should be obeying and listening. That's crazy. Not everybody wants to play that game, because we know God loves the children. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll probably come back with a part 2 on this. I'm going to wrap it up because I'm going into 2 hours long on this one. We do thank you for your support. And there are, I think, like agencies or nonprofits that accept maybe donations to help, fund these causes that help some of these babies get out of these situations too. It's just like raising awareness about it a little bit. When people celebrate Thanksgiving, what are they thankful for? It ain't my business. But a lot of our babies are not even close near going through the day-to-day realities of other kids their same age in other places. Every day. We want to remember that upon much, much more. And Thanksgiving, other cultures, they have their own holidays and stuff too. And things they practice, like feasts and reservation days, observation days. Once again, our topics are not broadcasted to down or judge. If it comes off that way, I bet I can answer for myself on any part of this segment. Like, you just be speaking from where your opinion, reaction, and commentary comes in at, from what you've experienced in life, whether I ever speak about it or not. How you gonna tell that person how they feel about a topic is what? Wrong, right? What? When it's about human rights? You gotta just let people have their opinions, bro. I say when opinions turn into whole reactions, though, yeah, what does that say? Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to subscribe. You will make it TV, and until next time.